Prologue. "There you are," Frank said. Lacey took a sharp intake of breath as she stared at him. Her father, standing in the doorway of the small, dilapidated cottage she'd tracked him to. Words failed her, because for a moment she was sure she'd made some kind of mistake. This man was so old, wrinkled. His nose was much bigger and more crooked than the nose of the father in her memories. His stature so much less imposing, and his once thick, dark mass of curls, the defining feature that he and Lacey shared, was completely gone, leaving a pink, bald head in its place. But then Lacey saw it, that twinkle in his dark eyes, that dimple in his left cheek, that mole beside his right eyebrow. It was her father, all right. "Hello, Dad," she managed. The background smell of cow manure suddenly became more pronounced as Lacey's senses heightened, sharpened hanging in her nostrils. Beside her, her patient English shepherd dog, Chester, nudged his nose into her palm, offering comfort and support, as he always did in times of stress. "You've grown," Frank quipped. "I'm glad," Lacey replied with a cautious smile. "It would be odd if I was still the same height I was when I was 7. Her voice trailed off, the unspoken weight of her words hanging in the ether between them. Her father shuffled from one foot to the other awkwardly. It reminded Lacey of an animal in a zoo. Cornered. Was that how her turning up out of the blue made him feel? Like he was trapped? "I'm sorry for turning up unannounced," she blurted. Her dad's expression softened. "Not at all. Don't be sorry. I was hoping you would." Lacey let the tension she was holding in her muscles loosen a little. Though this meeting was far from the fantasy she'd envisioned, she was at least glad to know she wasn't a wholly unwelcome visitor. "Did you want to come in?" her dad asked tentatively. "You and—" His gaze fell to the dog, sitting obediently at her legs. "Chester," Lacey said. She patted her canine companion's head. "Chester," Frank replied, smiling. "I don't have any dog treats in the house, unless he's allowed a biscuit." "Biscuit," Lacey repeated in her mind, suddenly aware that the 30-odd years her father had spent living in England would have changed him significantly, not just in terms of his lexicon, but in other more subtle ways too. In a very real sense, he was pretty much a stranger to her now. "Yes, he's allowed one," she stammered. I mean, if it's not a problem for you." The staccato sentences, the stop, start, stop, as she second-guessed every word that came out of her mouth. It was all incredibly uncomfortable. And a piece of Lacey was telling her to run back through the muddy fields she trekked through to get to this remote, bleak location, leap into her champagne-coloured Volvo, and speed all the way back to the comfort of Wilfordshire. But another, more dominant part of her told her firmly to stay put. "It's not a problem at all," Frank replied. He moved back from the door, allowing her entrance. After a brief moment of hesitancy, Lacey stepped inside her father's cottage. Right away she was struck by the similarities to her own home. The low ceilings, the dark wooden beams, the inwardly bulging walls from a structure so old it had been built before the advent of spirit levels. There were marked differences, too. Where Lacey's cottage was brimming with life, Chester, Tom, Gina's daily visits, her father's seemed small, lonely and quiet.